Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Friday morning the 27th of June. In this video we're going to talk yet again about missing siblings Lilly and Jack Sullivan, aged just 6 and 4 respectively, missing now for almost 2 months. Reported missing around 10 AM by their mother Malaya Brooks Murray on May the 2nd. The original claim by both Malaya and their stepdad Daniel was that whilst Malaya and Daniel were dozing in and out of sleep with their 16-month-old baby Meadow, Lilly and Jack were playing in the trailer. They went out of the silent sliding glass door and disappeared into the woods, never to be seen again. The property they live on is surrounded by dense woodland, very difficult to traverse in places due to downed trees and debris from a hurricane that went through a couple of years past. And this is a very rural part of Nova Scotia in Canada. And I'm not discounting, even after everything we've heard, I'm not discounting the possibility that Lilly and Jack could have simply got lost in the woods and no crime has been committed. However, given some of the truth bombs that have been coming out and given some of the things that we've heard, particularly over the last week, I'm seriously starting to doubt that Lilly and Jack did go through those sliding glass doors on their own to play out and just disappeared into the woods. I can't discount it, can't discount anything. I don't know what happened, but I'm starting to believe that something different happened. Daniel has spoken to the media quite a few times, and in a recent interview with CBC News, Daniel said that there's more to this case than we know, more to this case than meets the eye. I'm paraphrasing here. Incidentally, the behaviour panel, the body language experts, they analysed that interview yesterday. Interesting if you're into that kind of thing. It's worth a watch. Anyhow, last night, Grandma Belinda was on It's a Crime and Shame. Now, Sunny from It's a Crime and Shame has been doing some great work on this case. Grandma Belinda is Lilly and Jack's bio-grandma. She is Cody's mother, Cody being Lilly and Jack's bio-dad, who's not had anything to do with Lilly and Jack for the last 3 years. Belinda has been communicating with Malaya a little bit, and she's been speaking to Sunny from It's a Crime and Shame for a while now. But last night was the first time that she's actually come out and spoken. Actually, it's not the first time. It's only the second time she's come out to the public and spoken. But it's the first time she's been on a YouTube channel. She did an interview with CBC, which is really interesting. I think she's heartbroken. I think she needs answers, and this was a long live stream. There's plenty of information in there. I'm just going to focus on a couple of points in this video, but I'll leave a link to this live stream in the description box. It's well worth your time. Darren also spoke on there, and it was interesting hearing Darren and Belinda have a conversation. For those not following this case really closely, Darren is Malaya's grandma's first cousin. So that makes him Malaya's first cousin, twice removed. An extended family member. But he's been involved in this case because he's been trying to get to the truth of what happened. And one of his major sources is Janie. Janie being Daniel's mother. So all of these grandmas... and the grandmas are actually going to get to the truth. It's not going to be RCMP that gets to the truth of this. It's going to be the grandmas. Do not underestimate grandmas. These are super grands, these are. Anyhow, all credit to them. A bunch of strong women here. Daniel's mother, Janie, is the person who's been speaking to Darren. She's on the verge of coming out, and I wish she would. She's been speaking through Darren. But it would make the story that she's been telling a whole lot more credible if we could hear it directly from her. we've talked about this a few times on this channel, but we're going to talk about it again. And we're going to pick up a couple of points that were discussed in the conversation between Darren and BELYNDA. Let's go. Okay, so first, it needs to be said that BELYNDA took the same line as I did originally when I first heard this version of events. The version of events that Darren came out with was that Malia, his own family member, knows what happened to Lilly and Jack, that Malia orchestrated their disappearance, that Malia arranged for Lilly and Jack to be taken away by one of her friends, and she supposedly was going to be following on later that day with Baby Meadow. But she didn't realise that Daniel's mother, Janie, was on the property. She thought Janie was away for the night. So this is why she chose this particular day, May the 2nd. And Malia had rung the school early on the Friday morning at something past 6 a.m. to say that Lilly and Jack wouldn't be in school. Now, they hadn't been in school on the Thursday either because Lilly had a cough. No one was in school on Wednesday. It was a no school day. So the last time Lilly and Jack were seen at school was Tuesday. So she rang up the school both Thursday and Friday saying Lilly had a cough. Anyhow, Janie caught Malia on the driveway, but we don't know exactly what time this is. What happened between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. is crucial. And apparently Janie on her phone has been tracking exactly this timeline. I need this timeline. I'm a timelines person. It's so important to understand the timeline. So I think Darren realises now that the actual time of these things happening is very important to understanding exactly what went down. So Malia panicked and said that Lilly and Jack were in the woods and they were lost. So instead of just admitting at that point that she was leaving, and BELYNDA said the same as I was thinking originally, that, well, why wouldn't she just go? Why wouldn't she just leave? Why wouldn't she just take all the kids and leave? Somebody could pick her up or she could just drive away herself. Why would she do all of this? For that reason, I have a hard time believing it. However, if Malia really was suffering from postnatal depression and she really wasn't thinking straight, not that she was in postpartum psychosis, not that bad, but she just wasn't thinking straight and she just panicked. I don't know. But, Darren is very sure. He's very sure that this is what happened. And I do believe that Darren believes it. But Daniel apparently has now admitted that he's lied. He's lied to the public. What he's told RCMP is something completely different. We don't know what he's told the police. But he's come out with this story to back Malia up. He's been covering up for Malia. He's been lying, and he now realises they're not going to get back together. So maybe he's now prepared to come out and tell the truth. Because if Daniel and Janie are telling Darren, yeah, this is what happened, Malia had someone pick up Lilly and Jack, well, it means Lilly and Jack are alive, hopefully. And now there's a bunch of people who are in trouble for lying. And every day that goes by, Malia gets herself more and more in trouble for lying. But Malia isn't talking. Malia as a lawyer. So hell will freeze over before Malia's family are going to come out and tell what they know. That's just my opinion, but I can't see it. And do Malia's family know the truth of what happened? Because it appears that they could have planted a blanket for searchers to find.
And when I was talking to Daniel, because she would not miss a word, and after she listened to Daniel and I talk twice, she decided she could trust me and let it out. She let out what she swore to the police. And that's why Janie started to trust me, and she still does. Thank God. And to this day, right, as a matter for what day is it? Thursday? I I put in reports on Saturday morning, and the major crime unit hasn't even gotten back to me yet. And I know why. But the reason why is right from Jordan, the head investigator's mouth, right directly from his mouth to my ears, but I can't say this because it could affect who gets custody of Meadow. So I've got to shut up on that one until this is settled.
Janie now trusts Darren after his conversations with Daniel. There's a custody issue now with Meadow because Malia had custody of Meadow, but only under supervision, that she stayed at her mother's. But then when she realised that Darren was sniffing around and getting close to the truth, she left and went to stay on the reserve, which she wasn't meant to do. So it appears now that Meadow has been taken into CPS care. That's the impression I get. Now, apparently there was a CPS hearing yesterday, but we're not going to find out exactly what happened with that. There's certain things that those involved are not going to be able to say regarding Meadow.
I wish she would have come forward at least a couple of days after. I mean, when she was sure in her mind that she really believed Malaya took these kids. Because, I mean, the first week to 2 weeks, it was all about searching. And when I was there, I mean, other than the reporters that I seen Daniel talking to, I mean, I was only there for so many hours each day. But I didn't see anybody hounding. I mean, Daniel talked to reporters right off the bat. Why wouldn't they have said something then?
Exactly. Why wouldn't they have said something then? Now, apparently, Janie's told the police everything she knows. She didn't see the children leaving, so it's Janie's word against Malia's. And if there's no actual evidence that that's what happened, cops are stuck between a rock and a hard place. And we have no way of knowing what Malia has told the police.
I don't have all the answers. Belinda. But that's what Janie directly told me and showed me. To the point of they even were offering, I don't know whether Earl is her ex-husband or still husband, they even offered Earl liquor to talk. And that really...
Now, Daniel did tell me that too.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Belinda. See, that's a confirmation of a little point. And thank you so much.
Daniel did tell me that one too, that they offered his parents liquor and that.
Okay. So the things that Belinda's been told mirror the stuff that Darren's been told. So we're getting some kind of corroboration here for the things that Darren has been told. I really believe that Darren believes what he's saying. I don't think he's a bullshitter. I think he truly believes what he's been told. So I guess it all comes down to, has he been told the truth? Or is Janie saying this to get the heat off Daniel? It's a bizarre situation.
The other thing there is about that blanket. Monday, Daniel was telling me about that blanket. He said her family found a piece of a blanket up in a tree. He said now they never went searching at all. He found it very strange that they found a piece of blanket. Now, I thought he told me the blanket was blue, but I won't swear my life to it because, I mean, my memory's just not the greatest anymore. But he did tell me that it was a blanket that was chucked in the garbage, and he doesn't know if a bear or something tore the garbage bin open, but he said the garbage bin was tore open, and the garbage bag was broke open, and he stated that he showed it to the police.
Probably goddamn crows.
And he also told me that Malaya called the school at 6:18. He said he didn't even know the kids were going to be kept home that day. But she called the school at 6:18, and he had that proof on his phone. And I asked him if he gave that to the police.
So we know Malaya was up and about early. So what happened between 6:18 when she called the school and 10 a.m. when she called the cops. That's the crucial few hours that we need filling in minute by minute. All right, going to move us on, because something was said about cadaver dogs, which is completely and totally untrue. So, you know me, I'm a dog lover. I know about dogs. All right, I know about dogs. And I know that what has been said about cadaver dogs is blatantly, completely and totally untrue. I've got loads of videos about search dogs, cadaver dogs, across various cases. If you get sick of me talking about dogs, well, I'm sorry. But this is incredibly important.
Belinda, what else did you want to ask about? Anything about that day that he would know, or
how many dogs were on that property, do you know? Because I know Daniel told me her dog was like a Yorkie mix, but the dog I heard Saturday was a really big dog.
No, he's not really big. He's about a foot high at the spine, and he's one dog that I know of that I saw there, and he looks like a little bigger Yorkie, but he's kind of a mutt too. I think he's probably got not a purebred or anything. But
Does Justin have a dog? Because this dog was big.
Janie didn't want the police to search her trailer, supposedly because of her dog. But Belinda said there was a large dog on the property. Now, I do know that Earl has a dog. Daniel's dad. He has a dog. But anyway, I digress. This is about the cadaver dogs. And this is completely untrue.
Cadaver dogs in there. It's my understanding that there was one through there.
No, there wasn't.
No, they stated there was no cadaver dogs. They were all tracking and scent dogs.
That is true.
There's only one cadaver dog in all of Nova Scotia. There's only one.
Okay.
Also true, based on what I can find on the internet.
they said they were bringing a cadaver dog in. Remember when Daniel was talking about that? Do you know?
Yes, they did state they were going to bring the cadaver dogs in, but they didn't.
Yeah, they did say that, but they haven't done. And it begs the question why they haven't. Because if you believe, as the police said, that they think Lilly and Jack are dead and they're in the woods, why not bring in cadaver dogs? It doesn't make sense. Unless the police have changed their theory and they now don't believe that Lilly and Jack are dead and in the woods.
They said it could be the next step, but that's right. They never ever did. Now, something that I seen on another channel, and I can't remember what it was, or I give them a shout out. They were saying that cadaver dogs takes 4 to 6 weeks to be able to pick up the death scent. I don't know if that's true.
It is completely untrue. So whichever channel that was said on, I haven't seen it. I don't know which channel it was on. They need to get the facts straight. Listen, if someone's been dead for 4 to 6 weeks, you wouldn't need a cadaver dog. You'd be able to smell it yourself. Dead bodies really smell. Like a dead mouse in the bushes. You can smell it from a ways off. So imagine the smell of a dead human. That's nonsense, absolute nonsense. What channel said that?
I'm just repeating what I heard.
Oh, that would make sense, yes. That would make sense. A body has to decompose.
The body do have to start the decomposition process. Dogs have a sense of smell that's thousands and thousands of times better than ours. So if a body's been decomposing for 4 to 6 weeks, you wouldn't need a cadaver dog. Your own weak little nose would be able to smell it. The state a body would be in 4 to 6 weeks after they died would depend a lot on the environment. But during that active decomp process, it smells. And then you get a reduction in that scent as the tissues are broken down. And then once you end up with skeletal remains, then a human's weak little nose wouldn't be able to smell anything anymore. A dog's would.
It wasn't Jules KT, was it?
No, I don't know. It was... Okay. I think it was one of the AI ones because I shut it off after that because it was so goddamn ridiculous to listen to.
Well, I've no idea what AI channel was on about, but it was absolute nonsense. Anyway, I asked AI myself, how soon after death can a cadaver dog detect the scent of a dead body? I asked ChatGPT. Cadaver dogs, also known as human remains detection dogs, can begin detecting the scent of a dead body within minutes to hours after death, depending on several factors. Soon as 30 minutes to a few hours after death, dogs can detect scent if decomposition processes, even early ones, begin to release volatile organic compounds such as things like cadaverine, putrescine, etc. Some well-trained dogs can detect scent changes very shortly after death, particularly if there is blood or tissue exposure. Okay, so things like open wounds. Well-trained cadaver dogs can detect minute traces of decomp, including blood, bone and tissue, sometimes days, weeks or even years later. Some dogs are specifically trained to detect very early decomp, including shortly after clinical death occurs. I asked ChatGPT, what is your source? ChatGPT didn't give me any sources. Here's the scientific basis behind cadaver dogs detecting scent, supported by published studies and expert commentary. And then it gives me Reddit. But I was able to find a study. I copied that text, put that into Google, and found the source for this. Cadaver dogs were tested on volatile organic compounds present in decomposing tissues and found 45 minutes to 2 hours post-mortem, so after death, is when most cadaver dogs can reliably make a hit on human remains. I found this interesting study here. So dog performance on textiles associated with decomposing human remains. So this is where they have a piece of textile and they put some death scent on it, and how good are dogs at detecting the scent of death on these textiles. A study in 2008 was the first to report on the duration of contact between a cadaver and textile material for the odour to be detected by a dog, as well as the duration that the odour will be contained in a fabric. In their study, 2 deceased individuals were wrapped in cotton blankets and placed on top of 20 centimetre square carpets for 2 to 10 minute intervals respectively. Results from the study indicated that the dog could identify carpet squares with 94% accuracy for 2 minutes, so just being the body being on there for 2 minutes, and 98% for 10 minutes. The authors concluded that the dog's accuracy to detect textiles contaminated with cadaveric odour does not degrade with time, at least for the period of studies, and that trained cadaver dogs will be able to recognise the decomposing tissue after post-mortem intervals of just 2 hours. So 2 hours after death, and that's on a piece of textile. So this is using training aids, this is using gauze pads with odour on, this is using textiles, carpet with odour on, and the body only needs to have been dead for like 2 hours, and dogs can reliably detect the odour of death. So imagine a body, not a piece of cloth or a carpet that's got odour on, but an actual body that's decomposing in the woods. That's going to be really strong to a dog, especially if there's tissue damage. I did find a study a while ago, I don't know whether it was the same study, and I've talked about this in previous videos. There was reliable detection with a post-mortem interval of only 1.5 hours. The body starts decomposing straight away, but there has to be, some interval before dogs can start to detect it. But 4 to 6 weeks, that's just nonsense. So whatever channel said that, please do not believe it. It's nonsense. I'll leave a link to this study, it's long, in the description box, so you can read it all if you would like to. Cadaver detection dogs, a review of their capabilities and the volatile organic compound profiles of their associated training aids. Alright, I'm going to leave it there. Please do go and check out the live stream on It's a Crime and Shame. And I'll speak to you very soon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye for now, guys. Good girl.